Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylina and I am the Hex Witch, and today we are going to be talking about something that might just make you squirm a little bit in your seat. So I love talking about witchy stuff. I love talking about books and reviews, but I also, being a massage therapist, I love talking about healthcare and something that I've actually personally been going through lately, and something that may not be always recognized that could definitely be a possibility for if you're not feeling well. So today, trigger warning, if you get grossed out easily, this is probably not the video for you. But today we were talking about parasites. And first off, some misconceptions about parasites. A lot of people think that if you get a parasite, you have to have been traveling from like a third world country or into another country and get it. That is not the case. Parasites can be all over the place. They don't just have to be in a third world country. Also, parasites are rare. No, they actually are not, surprisingly, and they are much easier to contract than you would think. So they are not super rare. You can get a parasite, and it doesn't have to be like super complicated. Lastly, there's a big misconception that you have to have bad hygiene or something to get them, and that is also not the case. I will go over in a little bit all the different ways that you can get a parasite, and like I said, they can be relatively easy to get if you have pets, if you eat uncooked meat, if you don't have good water. All these things can lead to you potentially getting a parasite. So let's jump right into it. What is a parasite? So a parasite is any organism that lives on or in a host, and it relies on their body as food, which is disgusting. There are three main different types. So you have your protozoa, you have helminths, and then you have your ectoparasites. And so I'm going to go into those each a little bit deeper so that you know what each one of those are. Protozoa. So those are going to be microscopic. They're one-celled organisms, and once they get into the human body, they can multiply rather easily, and they can also cause some serious infections. They can be transferred through fecal-oral route, bad water, or person to person. They may make home in the blood tissue or blood of their human host. Next, you got your helminths. These are large multicellular organisms that can be seen by the naked eye. They cannot multiply once they reach their adult form. And there are three subtypes, and they can most likely make their home in the gastrointestinal tract. If you do get a roundworm, it can live in the lymphatic system, the blood, or the subcutaneous tissue. The last one I'm not going to go into as much detail about, but they are your ectoparasites. These are all your parasites that need blood to survive. So they're your lice, mites, fleas, ticks, and even mosquitoes can fit under this category. Most of these are going to bury into your skin and cause problems there. Also, they're the ones that are carrying disease. So that's how they become a problem, is once they bury into your skin, they can transfer that disease over to you. So your symptoms. These symptoms can be very vast, and they can also mimic a lot of other different things. So most of the time, a parasite is probably not going to be on a doctor's radar because they can mimic so many other different medical complaints. So your symptoms are going to include abdominal pain, diarrhea, nausea and vomiting, gas and bloating, dysentery, rash and itching, stomach pain, feeling tired, weight loss, muscle aches and joint pain, digestive issues, dehydration, swollen lymph nodes, insomnia, anxiety, yeast infections, grinding your teeth, constant hunger, never feeling full, depression and anemia, and some others. So if you're getting a diagnosis for something and you've been given things to help it and you're just not getting better, you may want to turn to a parasite because it might actually be that. So getting a parasite can be relatively easy, as I said before. Things that you might not think about is eating raw meat, having unclean or unfiltered water, having pets. You're going to be dealing with their poop. Things happen even when you're doing your best to wash your hands and stuff. Things can still happen. If you have a naturally weakened immune system, you could be at a higher rate to get one. If you like exotic foods, if you're outside a lot, especially if you like to walk around barefoot outside, you can actually get parasites that are absorbed through your feet, which is gross and disgusting, but true, apparently. Um, so as far as diagnosing parasites, it can be a little bit difficult as they, like I said before, mimic a lot of different things. And some of them are so microscopic that even if you do a test, if you're not overridden by them, then you may not, doctors may not pick them out. So, and unfortunately, it seems like most of the time you have to get a lot worse before doctors can even narrow in and figure out that it's a parasite. But different tests that you can do to maybe figure out if you have them or not are stool examinations, endoscopies, blood tests, x-rays, and then I'd also like to mention urine analysis. So I went in not too long ago, had a bunch of tests done, and my white blood cells were super high. And so that automatically means that there is something going on in your body that your body is trying to fight off. So if your white blood cell count is ever high, that is definitely something to look into. So the next session, next section is about what you can do to get rid of them. So if you go to a doctor, which I always recommend if you don't know what to do, go to a doctor, but most likely they're going to give you an antibiotic. Just be careful with antibiotics. They obviously will get the job done. They're going to kill off the parasite, but at the same time, it's going to take all of your good and bad bacteria right out of you. And as good as it is to get rid of the parasite, if you're taking all of that good bacteria as well, it's going to take a lot longer for your stomach and intestines to get back to normal because you've depleted it of everything it needs, the good and the bad. So just be aware of that when you're doing that, because some antibiotics can be really, really harsh on your body. But if you want to try and go about it in a more natural form, there are different things that you can try to help get rid of the parasite more naturally. And these are going to be things like black walnut and wormwood. And you can actually get that in a tincture that you can get on Amazon that has both of those ingredients together in it. And it's very strong. And you just take it on a daily basis. And it's supposed to help kill off the parasites and get them out of your body. Cloves are also listed. I guess those are really popular. Right now I'm not doing cloves, but I'm doing black walnut and wormwood. Propolis is something that comes from bees, and my psychic actually is the one who told me that I had this going on in the first place, and she told me to take propolis as I guess it really helps clear the linings and flushes everything out. So we're trying it. And then two other important ones that I want to note is B12. A lot of the times, a lot of people are actually deficient in B12, and it's a very important vitamin to be taking just for your overall health, as well as B17. Probably not one you've heard of very often, but you find B17 in apricot kernels. And so you can go, like I said, Amazon again, and or a health food market and buy apricot kernels, put them in your morning smoothie, eat them plain if you want to, and those are supposed to help with B17. And that's like a really important mineral that, or vitamin that we need to keep ourselves healthy. Other things that it lists throughout my research was pumpkin seeds, pomegranates, cranberry, beets, carrots, papaya seeds, and honey. Lots and lots of water, probiotic yogurt, berberine, garlic, bananas, which it was funny because even before I did all this research, I was feeling a draw towards bananas for whatever reason, as if like an intuition told me I need to be eating them, even though I don't usually enjoy eating them. So listen to your body, it will tell you what it needs. Also, there is a parasite detox called Zuma. I have not tried it out, but it has good reviews, so you might want to try that out. Um, it also mentions to avoid like simple carbs and carbohydrates, refined foods, some fruit juices, dairy products, and sugar, especially sugar, unless it's just raw organic honey, which is fine. And as always, just a note to be very careful and cautious when starting out a new herb or supplement, as you want to make sure, maybe consult a doctor or herbalist, a dietitian, anyone who's going to be able to tell you if it's a good idea to take something or if it's going to interfere with other medicine that you take. Never just start taking something on your own without knowing what it might do to your body. Lastly, how do you know if you are healing? So when you are taking these things, you obviously want to make sure that they're working. And what I read when doing research is when parasites die, they tend to release this toxic fume and toxins into your body. So it's, for a little bit, it's going to feel as if you're getting worse before you get better. And this is perfectly normal. It's called die-off symptoms, and they can include anything from headaches, diarrhea, increased fatigue, or vomiting. So it may seem like you're getting worse before you get better, and that is perfectly normal. You can talk to your doctor about like activated charcoal or Byzantine clay or enemas to help with the die-off symptoms. And then lastly, after everything is said and done, once you're finally cured of the parasite, where do you go from there? You know, you want to make sure that you're keeping your body, getting it back to its healthy state. And that's probably going to take a little bit of time. Parasites for a reason. They absorb and suck in all the nutrients and things that we need, leaving our body completely depleted. So you're going to want to maybe talk to a specialist, like the three I mentioned before: a dietitian, herbalist, a doctor, a gastroenterologist, someone who specializes in your gut biome and who can help you restore it back to its health. They're probably going to suggest taking things like probiotics and maybe have a certain diet for a little while you rebalance things back out. There may be certain things your stomach can't handle for a little bit while it's healing. But they're going to be able to point you in the right direction and help you do what's best for your body. They're also going to help you make sure that you don't get something like that again in the future. So, and I also honestly want to say, getting a company to come in and testing your water and potentially getting filtered water is really important, because before I even got this, I got a H.P. pylori illness, and it was from bad drinking water. And I live in Missouri. Like, this is not a third world country, even though it shouldn't be happening there either. But it's Missouri. Like, this should not be happening. And I got really, really sick. Had to do 3 rounds of antibiotics. That was just completely destroyed my gut biome. And I think I'm still suffering from that today. Like, I just can't quite get it back in balance. So things to think about: really make sure that you're drinking clean water. It's actually kind of revolting how little they kind of look out for that. And when we did get our water tested, it was full of just things that we absolutely should not be putting into our systems. And they do not regulate it as well as they should, in my personal opinion. So be aware of that. It could very well just be from your drinking water, which is crazy to me. But I think that's all I've got for today. As always, please stay happy, stay healthy, watch out for yourselves as winter starts coming around. It's cold, flu season, dare I say it, the C word, COVID-19. But hopefully this year we're on amends and that everyone will stay healthy for the most part. Be careful, and I will see you next time for another video.